Welcome, one and all, to podcast. I'm Sean. I work in production, television, writing, animation. But I'm not alone. Looks at friend.
Oh, hello, friend. So nice of you to notice me.
Oh, hi.
My name is Danny, and I am a writer who also works in media advertising. And there's one more of us here.
No, there isn't. Alright, so we're gonna...
I'm not their friend, I can assure you right now.
Oh, shit!
An enemy has been found. My name is Chris, and I also work in not production, media, life, TV, and data.
And together, we are three people who work in media. The podcast? Question mark. We're thinking of calling this Media Mates. Maybe even TV House. We all live in the same house. And we love each other very much.
I want to go home, please.
Anyway, today, with our many media idiosyncrasies, and I'm not sure if that's the word for it, with our many media specialties, Spy X Family is an anime, and what we'll be covering today. So yeah, as a note, prior to this show, I have not watched anime in like over a year. I was kind of, and I didn't care about anime overall. JoJo doesn't count. I didn't care about anime overall for so long. Like, I can't even remember. And this show got me back into it. So, wow.
So you liked it, in other words.
I guess I kind of did.
I wonder why. We're going to go over why, I guess, like, why we like it and kind of what it did, because whether you're a weeb or not, you may have heard of Spy Family, Spy X Family, but technically you don't say the X, so I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that snob, you know.
Yeah, there's another. For
Hunter,
those who don't know, Hunter x Hunter. There's a big X in the middle of it, and people act like, "Oh, it's fucking Hunter x Hunter. Don't say the X." It's like, why is it there? So anyway, some snobs are like that.
Yeah. So
Let's explain other jokes and ruin them while we're at it.
Yikers.
Yeah, well, my relationship to anime, I know you said it's been a year since you've watched it mainly, but I honestly just started watching it within this past year, living in an anime household now.
You can't run away.
No, it's a little late for me, but yeah. From Attack on Titan and Naruto to Carol and Tuesday to other things that you used to not watch it, so this was a nice, refreshing one. I love a good, like, wholesome show. It's like a...
What stopped you from watching anime? What pushed you away from it?
Honestly, I don't know that anything, like, pushed me away from it. I think it was just... I wasn't, like, kind of pushed into it more so. Just wasn't surrounded by as many people, like, who watched it, so kind of getting more close friends and living with all of you who do have it on sometimes, because I do like it as an art form.
Did you associate like cartoons with just like Marvel or Disney?
No, I don't know. I mean, because I guess like before watching anime, I would have associated like cartoons and animated programs with like more, I guess, childlike or less serious kind of programs, because that's just what I'd seen. But I knew there was like much more out there.
Yeah.
So,
Full Metal Alchemist.
yes.
And yeah, we got the third level of interest in anime over here.
You know, you're in the hospital and you like you pass out because you didn't have enough H2O in your system and you wake up with an IV drip. I just have that on all the time. Anime is just in my bloodstream. Literally, if you stabbed me and drank some of my blood, you would have a kick ton of anime in it.
You always resort to murder amalgam.
I don't know what he's talking
Metaphors.
about, but we'll find out. But yeah, I've been watching anime from the beginning of time. Long time ago, to the point where I started watching anime based on the seasons, right? You know, like winter, spring, summer, fall, all those new anime that pop up. And what I'll do is kind of do like a 3-episode test to see if I like it or not. And then out of the blue, out of nowhere, the show Spy X Family or Spy Family comes out of nowhere and just knocks everyone off their feet. And it's different. It's different, I'll tell you that much. Like, I mean, everything's the same in some kind of a manner, but, like, from what we've been watching for quite some time, you'll see there's a little bit of some differences in it and whatnot. So, yeah.
I personally was really surprised, and this is really taking it into, like, the account of, like, some wannabe writer guy. It really adhered, that first episode, to the 3-act structure. And there was a very set Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and by the end of that first episode, it grabs you in there. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's... I don't want to say that's what grabbed everyone, but that certainly grabbed me. I was impressed with the fact, because usually anime is like, this is a comic strip. We're going to fit all this into one episode, the hook as to why you want to watch the show, but we're not promising anything. Mm-hmm. And you've watched a million shows that are just like, at the end of the episode is the hook. Oh, it's a cliffhanger. It's like, we never even got to the Act 2. You just had a big montage of why the main character hates his life. Like, get to the magic!
No, which is interesting, too, to think about, like, I guess for both of you, and I'll give my own after, but like at what point in the show or in the first episode did it like really grab you and you knew like you were gonna keep watching? I know you mentioned like your 3-episode test, but...
Exactly the moment where Anya was hiding in 3 different areas. That was that.
Yeah.
When it cut to those 3 shots, I'm like, this is an excellent comedy. This is fantastic. I love this.
Yeah, I would say Agent Twilight's cool, but like when Anya popped up and you're like, yo, who's this little run over here doing little magical things that are about to happen? You're like, oh, everything seems normal for the most place, a guy who's a spy going to an orphanage to go and pick up a child to begin a mission. No biggie, everyone does it. Everyone has their own life moments, right?
Typical
but like
Tuesday.
yeah, just literally quite a normal Tuesday. But when Anya gets introduced, it's interesting because like each of the characters have an impact on each other, and then when Anya gets introduced, you see how this like cool, calm, collected, super suave Bond guy gets to start having some difficulties in life.
Yeah.
So.
Honestly, the crossword scene in that first episode was really
Christ.
was really good, because it's like you see how she's moving, and before you even like get to know her character, just the way that she's drawn and like her reactions, she's very alive as a character.
Reactions are priceless. And just, again, the chemistry. Like, I guess if you think about it, too, if it was just Lloyd, if it was just him kind of going around, then, it could be, like, a more generic show, but then you throw Anya in there, you throw Yor in there, and it's, like, the chemistry between them is amazing. Her reactions, like you said, they're priceless. She's just hilarious and adorable and everything like they intended her to be.
Yeah.
I want to say she's definitely the meme princess of 2022. The
meme queen!
Yeah, she's just absolutely destroying it. Also, by the way, you viewers out there, you're about to have kids or are going to have kids in the future, if your kid at age 4 is able to have finished a high-level crossword puzzle, you should take a moment to concern yourself with why that child is able to finish a high-level crossword puzzle. Anyway.
If they're 6, it's okay.
Yeah, only if they're 6. It's fine. Anyway, continue.
I like a few things that I'm just gonna list off that I found really good that it makes the show work. Like, they took opposites. They're like, oh, lone wolf spy forced into a family situation. And one thing that I really like is that even though he's highly skilled, they don't use it as a deus ex machina. Even though he can solve any situation, quote unquote, most of the problems he faces is due to his stunted, like, emotional parts. Like, whenever there's a trouble or, like, a problem that he has to face, it's always due to an emotional thing or a relationship thing, which isn't something that spies, like, normally have to deal with to that level. Usually in Mission Impossible, you deal with, like, 2 hours of fucking Tom Cruise's shit-eating grin, and the whole time he's been in control. Like, he literally, like, he's there the whole time like, oh, just kidding, I was never in a bad situation. And in this one, he sweats, like, basically the whole time, but not due to his lack of skill. And that's something I really like.
I like that how they establish him as, like, this legend, top spy, kind of, like, best in the business. But then they throw Anya into the mix, and he's like, for the first time, I'm nervous. I'm actually worried about failing this mission.
Yeah, he does say
because it's just, like, this variable he's never had to account for before.
Yeah, and, like, also, like, he relaxes for the first time or whatever, which I found also to be interesting, where it's like, oh, okay.
There's some very wholesome moments with that, actually.
Yeah. And I like how at the very end they also show the bad parts of Anya's thing. Where they're like, she goes into the room and she's trying to listen for other kids and they're like, I want to go home! Ah! And fucking like she has to be like, oh, I might actually fail. Oh, but Dad taught me and it's good. And it was a very quick like, oh, for her too, her power isn't a one be all end all amazing thing.
Yeah. Burdened with power. Also, the Anya's little voice, Anya, doing things all that time. I hope you guys remember, if you've watched it, when Anya goes into his room when Mr. Forger disappears into the distance to go do things, he takes out the spy box that he uses as a communicator hack to go and reach out to the other spies, and it gets picked up. Anya almost pretty much kills everybody in this entire this episode. This show is about to end in the moment if everything didn't go according to plan. But again, he had a little bit of difficulty trying to go and get her back. But it doesn't rely so much on him being a spy or his skill. There's just a lot of interpersonal skills that kind of come and weave their way into the show. So.
Yeah, and I like the introduction of Anya and the fact that it kind of does, again, force him into that situation where he kind of has to confront his emotions a little bit more and see that side of him that we're told that we've never seen before in him. So, like, I love the whole tagline that they say in the beginning and then they kind of go back to in the end where he's kind of fighting for a world where children don't have to cry. So I like that they bring that line back, that Anya kind of reminds him of, like, her being in the orphanage and her being in his life now reminds him of his own abandonment in his past that probably, like, closed him off to all of that.
That's, they keep doing things where they'll bring up his past and show, like, one image, and, like, they'll have these things where, like, it's a spy, it's an assassin, it's a, scary, weird demon child, and they'll have these dark themes in the background, but they keep focusing on, like, the world itself is actually really dark. Like, remember that scene where she's going and she gets a nosebleed and everyone's, like, thinking, I'll kill those bad, they're thinking about that war and stuff like that. Yeah, cool. The world in Spy Family is super fucking dark, but the characters are, like, silly people that you want to root for, and they keep, like, this bubble of, like, silliness and comedy that it's like, even though things are developing and they don't exactly explore it, they explore it just enough so it's like things are still lighthearted, but there's conflict.
Yeah.
It's nice that it's that undertone, but you still, like, the show's wholesome enough and you feel the comedy enough that, like, you're not necessarily worried about it, but you still notice it as you're going through it.
The ending theme is called comedy, so I mean, there you go.
I like to also slightly point out that compared to a lot of anime, it's an interesting one. Like, okay, the kid has powers, right? Anya has powers. You can read other people's minds, but she still acts like a kid. Like, it's not like she's like a genius. It's not like she's like ace in everything. It's not like she's like thinking at a level where it's like, oh, I can outthink adults. She acts like a kid and falls to the flaws and prairies.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that they actually do, is that, like, kids can be, like, weirdly, deceptively, like, can see that stuff. So it's not out of character. And also, like, just, like, she acts 100% like a kid, and the immaturity that she brings while also being like, I know everything that's going on. I just can't, I can't say it out loud for multiple reasons. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because there's knowing what she has to do and the pressure that's kind of, like, on her and on the mission, but then there's actually doing it is the other thing. So it's nice that they don't, like, overpower her in that sense, that she's not good at everything. She tries a bunch of things and
she sucks.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, everywhere.
That's another thing, is that you are viewing the show, and I wanna throw this out there. You are viewing the show through Anya's eyes the whole time, because she's the only one who knows the truth. And so she's like a narrative device. Like, compare... Like, I know that there is a narrator, but for the most part, he's just there to be like, hello, it's the beginning of the episode. Did you remember that who everyone is? He's a spy, she's an assassin, they're a family. Anyway, but for the rest of the episode, the narrator is Anya. She's the narrative device. She's like a third-person, all-knowing narrator. So, like, take, like, the DBZ narrator or, like, the JoJo, narrator and comparing it to Anya. Like, it's much more functional than just having someone talking in the background.
Different type of narration.
Yeah.
A little quiet little child, just telling you what's happening in her own perspective, not like the world perspective.
Yeah, it's not, like, forced. It's, like, integrate. It's very good.
Integrate is a good word for, like, when you're watching her whole thought process, and again, we've talked about her priceless reactions, but once you'll hear, like, oh, yeah, gotta complete this mission as a spy, or you know, the assassin talk of like, oh, still smell the blood of the kill from yesterday.
Yeah. But don't forget, we gotta make sure not to forget about Yor.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. So yeah, it's still nice that you see how childlike she can be, but also perceptive, and also like, I love how seriously she takes like the mission and like everything, and she does have that awareness, of course.
But like filtered through like, I get to be like Bond Man.
Bond Man? Oh my god!
I'm basically living with Bond Man. Ooh!
You mean James Bond? I mean Bond Man? No, definitely no relation to James
I
Bond.
really love that in the opening it's 007. It's
Yeah.
like they're doing everything they can to be like.
Hey, you know, Anya grew up with the Bond Man. I grew up with Naruto. You know, everyone grows up with their shows, you know?
That's the other device I love that she has. They read Spy Wars, they watch Spy Wars and Bondman and everything, and it's kind of just like so many of there's a bunch of times where the things she would say to her parents would seem so suspicious if not for the fact that she was watching a show about spies.
Yeah.
I would like to point out something very interesting. So, like, and one of the episodes, I think the later episodes of Spy Family, so Twilight, Dad, is just sitting down next to Anya, and they're both reading the Bond Man.
Yeah.
And Anya's like on like volume 5, but he's on volume 1. But like the interesting thing about it is like he's taking interest in what she's interested in.
I didn't
Like, she's
actually
definitely
catch
interested
that.
in
I didn't
yeah.
fucking catch
Like
that.
she's actually like reading it, trying to utilize it in a way to like, you know, help Anya learn. When Anya asks how many bullets can a pistol hold, oh, I could use this to teach her math. Oh God! So it's kind of cool. Like he does takes the time to kind of think about it.
When it comes to fucking pistols, can we talk about in episode 1 they kill a man on screen? They literally murder someone on screen in the show. That's a highlight for sure. I've never seen that. Episode 1, bam, he's fucking dead. And Anya's like, ooh, a pistol with the silencer. And it's like, you killed someone on screen!
Can I get an oops in chat?
Like, that's, the balls that they had to do that in episode 1 of their comedy show, big props. Big fucking props.
Yeah.
Because they cut, in the second episode with Yor, they show her killing people, then they cut to after she's killed them. No, he shot him in the fucking head.
Can we talk about Yor and her greatness in this show?
Can we just say that, yay, a 28-year-old, like a normal-aged anime girl, finally.
Oh yes. Also murders people on the side, but works a completely normal and regular job during the day.
Just the inevitable deviant art porn that is happening
Here we
no
go.
matter what. Finally, it's not weird and ambiguous. Like, maybe this will make anime fans less creepy? Probably not.
That's another good point, actually, that this time it's like, you know, we have a lot of anime where about most of the characters are usually younger, the protagonist is usually younger.
Yeah.
Yes, Anya is one of the protagonists, one of the main people, and she's like a kid.
Yeah.
But like the main characters they also flow around is all adults. Everyone's adult and in an actual adult life. Even though one is a spy and one is an assassin, they are living a normal life and going through the normal ways during the day. It's pretty cool.
And even if, like, you can't relate to, like, her woman struggle, like, you can kind of relate to the whole thing of, like, societal expectations being, like, and the way that she's getting around it, it's like, she doesn't want to be married, essentially. She just wants to get rid of the problem that she has to be finding someone, and she just wants to get rid of that expectation. Yeah. That is a relatable thing. So that good writing for a woman, like, good. You did it. You did it, Japan. You almost. There we are. We're doing it.
Another point, I guess another part was like, you know, like, so we're saying like it's a great show because, well, a lot of people are saying it's a great show because it also shows like great family values. Hope your parents are also assassins and spies. But besides that, it's kind of cool because like it's weird because like at first I'm like, oh, this was your family, so you should love each other, right?
Yeah.
But also it's like they're not, but they're kind of doing it for a reason. But Yor isn't like heads over heels over him, which is cool. It's kind of like Yor does what Yor does. I keep calling him Twilight. He does what he does.
Yeah, Lloyd, Twilight,
Lloyd.
same guy.
Yeah,
Twilight Sparkle!
Oh, I was waiting for that to happen. Now that he said it, I can now call him Lloyd. So, yeah, they're doing a good dinner. They're having a fun, super happy, fun time and friends right now.
Yeah.
Because it's wholesome, but you also see that, you get to see that dynamic evolve between, like, all of them. I mean, it seems like Anya does a good job of, like, uniting the two of them, because they're like, oh, precious, precious girl. We will guard you with our lives.
Little baby!
Yes.
Anya!
Yes. I feel like they start to develop more and more feelings for her first, but then kind of for each other. It's this mutual respect at first, but then it kind of goes further and further, but it's still not like they rush into like, oh, they're gonna fall in love, oh, they're gonna do all this stuff immediately, which is nice.
It's kind of a natural, unnatural relationship. It's weird, but not, and it's a good balance.
Well, when you guys are gonna get engaged, I'm sure you guys will get a grenade and use that as the engagement ring, right? That's the plan. In the middle of a high expectation battle and chase. That's what we're gonna do here today, huh?
That was kind of sweet, honestly.
Would you be mine?
Yeah.
Can I just say just outside of the, story writing stuff, she is dumb as fucking hell.
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit. What the fuck? Yeah, normal doctor stuff. Shooting people in the head and throwing a grenade.
Hey, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
I guess she's already, like, so worried about kind of hiding her secrets that she's maybe, like, that's lowering her guard a little bit. I know it's, like, Lloyd's kind of thing is reading people and seeing people. I guess her thing, she's good with murdering people, of course, but she doesn't seem as good about, like, connecting and, like, seeing beneath the surface and, like,
and I would also say that, like, it's good because the one member of her family that it's all writing on and does understand the context is an idiot and a child and immature.
Only when it comes to her.
And when it comes to the person that he should be able to rely on, she doesn't. She understands the base value, if that, because she has no common sense. So she's just kind of like, okay, I see what's happening, kind of.
Yeah, I would say she does have a heartwarming thing going on, trying to help Anya wherever she can.
But I appreciate the conflict that they add to his situation.
Yes. What does Lloyd say? Crap. What is it?
This family sucks?
no, not that. What do you always? Oh, crap. What do you? When they're, he's like, she asked him like, so how's the mission going? Oh, anxiety, anxiety. Okay, we're gonna walk out of this house. I want to get mission part 1 done.
But I think yours attitude and her kind of like, maybe like lack of awareness sometimes, but it also, it seems like for me it lent to like her kind of dual identity as the kind of like working and cleaning by day and then going out and murdering by night, just because I feel like when I would see Lloyd throughout the show, it would seem like, he's whatever part of his past that I'm sure we'll learn more about, he's fully in the spy life, like he's fully abandoned the emotional and he's in the spy life, and he can't really turn that off when he's just like in his day-to-day. Whereas like with Yor, she's an assassin by night, worker by day, so it's kind of like you feel more of that separation, because she's not like, you see it in a thought process sometimes where she's like, okay, I'm gonna murder that person if they do anything to Anya or anything to anyone, but
autopilot.
But still, I feel like I personally at least felt like more of a separation between her two roles, and of course like the family dynamic between them versus Lloyd, who was kind of like, he is a spy, that is his main thing that you see throughout.
That's actually pretty cool. Like it's like that may be the imagine that you're a spy, right? And you've been you're an assassin. You've been an assassin for so long. In order for her to be able to continue to be an assassin and be able to live her normal life without the government figure. Remember, part of it is that she has to make sure she lives a life that no one notices. She has to stay in there so no one pulls her over or anything.
Is she from the other country?
I actually don't know.
They leave that ambiguous.
Because the brother
the brother works for the Secret Service, I know, so that's probably they both are, I'd assume.
I'm not sure if they're foreigners or not.
I don't know. But that split that you were talking about just now, about the split with the personality, I think with her split being so strong like that, kind of being more aloof when she's in her day-to-day, really helps her play the character of also being like, oh no, don't look at me, couldn't be me, wouldn't be me. like when you go back to when she the brother is talking about how they used to be when she was a child. When she came back from killing people and she had blood over her, she just smiled like, hey, look, I found a book for you. Look at the book, it's Cat in the Hat. I love Cat in the Hat. So it's like wild. So yeah, I didn't think about that.
No,
Sorry
and
to harp on that. Yeah.
No, of course. I think it's like, I don't know if I'm diving too deep into it now, but it's honestly like, maybe it's like, being a spy is one thing. That could be more because it's like, there's less of an emotional toll of maybe with like, you know, you're fighting people and you're being a spy and undercover, but she's straight up murdering people constantly. So like, I'm sure maybe the separation of identity is just good for her mental health to kind of keep that.
Probably.
Her
And
emotions in line.
I would say that it's the opposite because Lloyd always has to be on. He always has to be a spy. Once her murdering stuff is over, she can. That's my identity over there. It's cut. But for him, he has to constantly be in the spy thing. Hence his thing where like he relaxes, and it's the first time that he's ever relaxed in a long time.
You know what's also funny about that? For a person being a genius spy, how has he not figured out that she's an assassin yet? Do you really know if she... Does he really not know? Are we playing some game here? 'Cause come on! She has one mean hook!
Yeah,
I tell you that.
Man, I don't know.
She kicked a man so hard his head got stuck in the ceiling!
Wow.
Like, goddamn!
Yeah, because I guess in yours defense, I feel like there is this blindness of like both of them in regards to each other. I mean, I know when they met, they were like, oh good, you're helping me complete my mission, you're helping me get my brother and my coworkers off my back. So there was like this common goal, shared goal between them, so that makes sense for the blindness, but I guess as they go on, it's like you would think they would maybe see.
Yeah.
Just works out. You know, go to gym, slaughter.
I
Self-defense.
would like to do and get this out of the way because we probably all have a highlight reel of our favorite moments that we'd like to go through. I'll do mine very quick. I'd say let's go one by one for this. The opening and ending, not only are they bops and they're very good, but they foreshadow and set the tone. Because when it goes into the thing and it starts with an action scene and then it goes into the pastel cutesiness of kind of like, you know, the story is told through Anya. And then all the foreshadowing going on in the ending where, like, when you're in episode 1 and it's like, who's that? It's Damien. Who's that? It's Anya's, not yours brother. And it's like, you can kind of get a sense for these characters and what they represent just from the images. Very good. Mwah! Family outing episode shows the family dynamic in action, gets you into like, okay, I want to stay for it, even though the thing has changed so much. And they casual kill someone on screen in episode 1. That was a highlight. Episode 4 is where they cement them, because when Anya's crying and everyone gets really mad, and they almost kill that guy, even though we saw them in action in episode 3, it was episode 3. Even though we saw them in action as a family, they weren't really cemented as a family until you see their bond in action in episode 4.
Bond.
All of the volleyball episode.
Oh my
Billy
God.
Billy the 8-year-old.
Tell you about Billy.
Billy the fucking 8-year-old who can bench press a mountain.
His dad. What does his dad look like? Sagat? What does he look like?
Yeah,
Is it Sagat, the guy?
or maybe it's Zangief. He looked like one of them.
I was like, what the hell is this man?
Yeah, it just
Go ahead.
yeah, and no. His dad was one thing, but then also he's like, hello, I am 8 years old, and throwing the things, screaming, die. Okay, listen, I don't give a shit about Damien's shitty little fucking Crab and Goyle ass Harry Potter fuckers.
Is it Neil or something?
But the death scene of when he's holding him and it's a dramatic death scene, then it gets interrupted and the other guy gets thrown out in the middle of the... Mwah, that was incredible. And then the animation for Anya's fail throw
Starlight.
was amazing. I was so happy with that. And I think the last thing that made me lose my fucking shit was the wow in episode 12. Where the guy gets hit up there and Anya goes, wow! and then second, like, you think to yourself...
There is.
You think to yourself... Oh wow! I wish I could hear that again. And then Lloyd comes by and he's in his disguise and he's like, "Wow!" They this the same thing.
I have to point out this man his head is in the ceiling. Oh my god.
Favorite fucking parts by far.
Also, like, not to take away, but like,
Oh yeah.
like when you're watching normal anime or watching a show, you know, everyone has their own types of voices and whatnot. But like when they say certain things, like the wow, I just never heard it like that. Like the emotion, like it's like they're literally surprised. They're like, oh wow, like I'm legitimately surprised. Not like
The voice acting is top notch.
Yeah.
As a one of our friends would say, he is so fucking hot. God, I wish I could fuck him. You know who we're talking about. Zeneca.
Oh God, yes, sir.
She said that every 2 minutes.
Certain person would like to be stepped on by Lloyd, and probably every character in that entire show. But I'll get that for later. Yeah.
But yeah. What were your highlights? Go ahead.
So highlights for me. I will talk about, also mention the volleyball scene since you did mention that. And that's a similar
Christ.
one. That was just, I feel like it captured everything. There was plenty of humor. There was a training montage.
Yeah, it's like transformed into a sports anime for an episode a little bit.
The Rocky stairs and everything. There was the, again, like you said, the emotional, like, death.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing. and Bill, the other kid who,
Bill.
like,
Oh my god.
I couldn't tell if he got left back or was still that young, but like I love
same
how,
age as everyone apparently.
Yeah.
Calvin was in that room and I was like, Calvin, look at the screen, He's like, oh my god!
He's like 3 times taller than him.
Yeah, I like how him and Damien both have the whole like, you know, wanting to impress their father thing going on, but it was just like so funny to be played out with Bill.
Yeah.
The huge guy, his father 3 times as big as he is.
Ford
That was-
F-150.
That is the incarnation of a Ford F-150.
Yeah.
This boy is not little.
Oh god.
And then I guess this is a more general one, but honestly, just like, of course we talked about Anya's reactions, but specifically every time Anya had reactions to your talking about, oh, still have the blood on me. Oh, I'm going to murder that person.
Anya's
Like
eyes.
the first realization that like she was an assassin, and then kind of every time after that, it didn't seem like she ever fully got used to like her, hearing your talk about murder and death.
Like, she always thought it was cool and was like, more cool stuff, and she's like, I don't know what I got myself into.
Dear God.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. I'm trying to think. I liked, again, when we touched on it before, but when they were speaking about her attempting to find a talent and find something she was going to be naturally good at, her epically failing at everything. But I still liked, like, the end of that kind of little bit where she, like, I guess it almost seemed like she came close to giving herself away to Lloyd, where she was like, there's a kid drowning, and he's like, how the heck do you know that? He's like, I think I'll go in the pool now.
Yeah.
They saved this kid's life, and she wasn't able to, but Lloyd did, but still, like, if she didn't go there, of course the 20 other people in the room didn't see him at all, but...
I like how she, like, probably that time, and it's the last episode of the season, that Lloyd could probably be like, like, just a little bit.
Yep.
Like, the first hint
Mhm.
that something's odd, other than the crossword thing, which is, he's like, okay, that was a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, yeah.
Also to support that, it was really cool when Anya runs up to jump into the water even knowing she can't swim. It just shows a little bit more of Anya's character, like, just go help people first, don't worry about anything else.
That's the one good thing about her character, is that even though she's selfish and she's like a little bit of a brat and definitely dumb, she is a courageous little tiny baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of endearing, it's like that childhood innocence and purity, and of course like that heightened awareness of everything because of her powers, but still that innocence and purity, and like her just jumping in like that.
Yeah.
And now we can only call her Starlight Anya from now
Yes.
on. Now we've crossed the point.
Of course. And then backtracking chronologically, I think this was honestly just like a highlight episode, but there were some really great moments there. You also touched on like specific moments, but when they went to the school for the interview, when they were on their way, just starting with when they faced all the obstacles that came their way, they're like, Someone's stuck in the mud. How are we gonna get them?
I feel fucking bad. I feel so bad for the animators. They had to make 3 full out. Like, sure, they did it in the manga panels, but they had to color it. They had to be like, okay, great.
Next.
Just every time the headmaster would kind of watch them and be like, there's no way they're going to get through this, and there's no way they're going to handle this stampede, and then they're just like, that's okay, we have an extra outfit, we prepared for this.
Yeah.
That nice little setup to, like, that scene.
Eleganto!
I was about to say, people are sleeping on it, you know, we're talking about Lore, we're talking about Yor, we're talking about Anya, but the real head character is Mr. Elegant.
Mr. Elegant Headmaster. I don't know what his name is. That
Master
man.
Henderson.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. Damn.
Also,
Yeah.
aka
I like
Mr. Elegant!
You can see him like one of the more prominent side characters too. I like how they kept bringing him back. But yes, the interview itself then, because that was like a nice. You see how they both care about Anya, and you just the whole nervousness about like, is she gonna actually do well? Are they gonna do well? Are they gonna keep it up?
Yeah.
That jerky guy who was like, yeah, I'm gonna trip them up because I'm jealous of their family. But I like that for.
Yeah, fuck your family. Fuck your family.
Oh my god.
Fuck your family.
That guy.
Yeah. But I love how like you see them not only standing up for Anya there, but kind of just like also standing up for each other when like they kind of go after yours, like, so you can't do things that a wife should do. And, like, you know, you're not adhering to society, and you're like, okay, chill out there. But I like how you see them all kind of standing up for each other a little bit more there versus like just standing up for Anya. You kind of see a bit of it, all of it.
That's true. They do stand. Yeah.
Damn. Peanuts. By the way, I hate peanuts. But this kid loves peanuts, man.
And you love peanut butter too.
Celebration of our first
Oh my
episode.
God.
I brought a peanut butter cup for all of us, and we have to finish.
You know what's funny? In today's age, what you do when a child is yelling and screaming, then people just give them the iPad, give them the phone, right?
Yeah.
But back then, they gave their kids the peanuts.
Is that it? You feel like you're silenced whenever there's a peanut involved?
Oh God. So you guys took a lot of the good ones.
No, you can talk about
I have
them.
a couple.
Okay.
A lot of good moments.
And you can also say the other ones and have your own spin on it.
I will say like one of my favorite characters in the entirety of it is definitely Mr. Elegant himself. So a couple I want to bring up. So one, I want to talk about Damien. So at the beginning, Damien is an annoying freaking brat. I just want to give him the into his face. But as time goes on, Damien starts to get better. It's like Damien's an annoying brat, and then he gets a complete on his right hook. And I want to go to the Yor's training camp because I'll become a god.
Oh, absolutely.
You know those
Same
memes
here.
where it's like, find a lady that can kill you, right? That whole meme. She could actually kill you 10 times over. So
No biggest fight.
yeah, not even trying, right? So like, it's pretty cool. So it's like watching Damien kind of like advance. I'm not sure. We got to episode 12. We don't know what Damien's gonna do in the future. We started to find that Damien's starting to like. I add some respect, some interest. Yes, he fell for her. But at the same time, when everyone was making fun of her in the class after she gets the badge, right, the star badge.
Yeah.
He's the one that's like, to fight back with everyone saying, no, this reputable school does not give it to anybody. And what he says internally is that he's just personally angry that she beat him to it.
Yeah.
And it's more in the competitive spirit of like, yeah, if you're competitive about something, he's like, I'm just mad that you got it before me, but I'm coming for you. And also when he also blocks the volleyball from completely a dodgeball from completely annihilating.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he was about to get launched there too. But
Yeah.
He
Oh
held
my
it,
God.
and it gives me some parallels. So if you guys have ever, people who are listening to this, have ever watched the show Hunter x Hunter, where there's that
I forgot.
Not to bring it up, there's that volleyball moment where Gon, Killua, and Hisoka do the combo and trying to catch the ball when it's burning. It gave me a little bit of a clap after callback. To
That is a callback.
But Damien is getting progressively better, and we also give him like a purpose, right? It's more like, I want my dad to pay attention to me more. I want my brother to pay attention to me more. So it's bringing more of a new dimension to him, so he can become more interesting as well as everyone else in the show.
Yeah, he's not your typical school bully, because you see the emotions start to develop for him and the pressure at home and everything, and it's like you kind of want to see him succeed too. But you know, of course, Anya's mission's more important.
Of course.
But you want to see them both succeed, ideally.
You don't
Yeah.
see too much of the pressure of his home, but you can assume that it's there.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna do one random meme of like, this is starting to look like Hogwarts a little bit. That scene where they showed Anya get the little star and she
That's
gets the robe.
very Hogwarts.
I'm like, oh, okay, we in the Hogwarts Ministry of Magic right now. So there's
You're a wizard, Anya.
yeah, you see, Anya is a wizard.
That's
I guess
true.
so.
She actually does have powers.
Yeah.
I'm a what?
Oh, actually, yeah, the name is Malfoy.
Oh, that's totally
Yeah.
what
There it
he's
is.
a Malfoy with Snape's haircut. That's all Damien is.
Pretty much.
Because it's literally fucking Crab and Goyle.
And the two guys, yeah, the Twinkle.
Literally just Crab and Goyle.
Yeah.
All they need is to be like 50 extra pounds, and there you go.
GG. What else? So there's that part, right? Now I want to go to a specific episode. So you guys covered a couple of the episodes. So there's one, I believe it's 2 or 3, where there's super wholesome and super nice moment where like they take the entire castle, they go off on a mission, spend a bunch of money to rent out an entire castle and empty it, bring the entire spy crew to fill it up to film or like to act out an entire full production spy battle. Where Anya goes up in the sky and Lloyd has to go and save her. That was pretty wholesome. It gives not to to bring show into real life. It shows how far he would go for Anya.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting because we know that he's doing it because he's a spy. He has to complete his mission, but we start to kind of blur the lines of like, you're getting pretty wholesome. You're going a little bit above and beyond what you would normally do.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the big moments where we see him go from like good spy to like honestly kind of good father at that point where he's like. And also, I think it's nice for cementing his place, like, in the spy organization to be like, oh, you're a legend. Everyone's like, oh, I get to go up against him. I get to, like, use this obstacle.
That one guy looked like he was gonna nut. He's like, oh, I get to get punched by you.
1v1, no
Step
items.
on me.
Oh my god. Yeah. And then we see what happens when Yor activates her drunken fist. Or drinks a little bit. Okay, if Lloyd still doesn't get like she's dangerous as hell.
That was the first hint at it.
I'm
for
like,
sure.
sir, you almost died. Like what? So
that earlier time when she said self-defense, like, okay, how far does self-defense go?
Yeah.
Not really.
if it didn't pause or she didn't slip,
If they don't breathe, you defended yourself pretty well.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And then I guess like my last like super overarching thing I want to talk about is like. So the demographic for the show, right? So there's everyone watches the show for a different reason.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool where it's like and you can take plenty of different angles on this. I want to take this angle for a second.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you know, you have your normal high school anime and such, but then you have this anime where it kind of like shows you. I think you're gonna hear this a lot, but like what a quote unquote, you can't see me do this, but very strong air quotes are happening here. What a quote unquote functional family looks like, right?
Yeah.
Functional. Obviously, not every family is perfect, and there's no family that's actually perfect. Everyone has the ups and downs, but kind of showing how everyone operates in a way where like they're all trying to help each other grow together.
Absolutely.
From Yor trying to help Anya learn math to Lloyd also trying to help Anya, and Lloyd having to switch up his strategy in trying to help Anya, right? The highs and lows of Anya being like a spoiled brat sometimes, but also being good and trying to balance it. It's kind of a really cool thing. And I kind of like, I guess sometimes some people may be watching it kind of going like, oh, you know what, maybe I should remember some stuff about me in my past, right? You know, when you're a kid, like, I never got peanuts when I wanted it. I would never want peanuts. That'll be a punishment for me. But like, and stuff of that sort, or even, you know, depending on what age you are watching this, perhaps what you'll feel like you'll do in the future, right? Because like, the one thing I like about anime a lot, and especially with shows, is that, you know, in your life, when you're walking through life, you know what you're doing and you know all what you're thinking, right? So you fully know what you're doing. But in our real life, we cannot tell what other people are thinking.
Right.
In a show, and especially like Spy Family, we get the opportunity to actually see like, oh, this is what Anya is thinking. This is what to the best of ability, obviously. But this is what the little child Anya is thinking. This is what you are thinking. And we get to see how each person's interaction activates, impacts each other, and how the world ends up growing. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
What
I think
man?
just like to piggyback off that, the like looking at the family, I also thought of like the whole like found family concept that like
Yeah.
you know, which is relatable in life, and the whole like close friends that become family are kind of like thrust into these circumstances, this environment where you just kind of like, not like you're forced to find these people, but it just kind of works out that way.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice to see that kind of organically develop. To everyone else's eyes, they're a family. They're trying to play that role, but to them, they're just like 3 strangers who are just like
3 dweebs.
Yeah. Making it work like little by little, and I feel like again you get to see that evolution and development between them.
Absolutely, and there is a big evolution there.
Yeah. And then sometimes, us we're younger, we're in the 20s. Yeah. But like we may not even have realized that maybe our parents were having these difficulties too, trying to like look like a functional family to friends at work, co-workers, or just in real life, right? Because like I know it's like a spy show, but at the same time you see them trying to like make sure they look appropriate. They go to a tailor store and then they're like, what you up to? Or the newest episode when they go to the aquarium because they're like, I never seen them together. He's probably doing something sussy, right? Yeah. So like these little things have an impact on people's thoughts and processes. And it's kind of cool that they actually show it to people.
Yeah, and they're putting like a real like context of like what it's like these things that we don't even consider conflicts, and putting it in a real like putting it to the nth degree where it's like the world peace will be ended if. Like, even though it's not, none of these, like, some problems are literally not a big deal, if not all of them. Like, some are, like, will Anya win the volleyball game?
Yeah.
But when it's like, oh, there's a chance at her getting one of the 7 pieces of Exodia, then, then she needs it.
I draw!
This is literally a case of a bunch of old, like wives going like, I think he's cheating! In real life, you're like, okay, goodbye. Go back to your apartment, you dumb bitch. I'll see you at Whole Foods.
Oh my god!
But in this one, it's like, oh, there's some stakes to it. I'm gonna run up the stairs. Let's go to the aquarium!
It's true. The stakes do make it different, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
They bring in the bigger picture there, which is what I love about, like, the whole, like, you blur the lines between, is it for the mission, is it for my family? They're kind of, like, intertwined, but I think it's Lloyd who says that, like, what was it? A threat to our family is a threat to our world. So it's kind of like blurring the lines, but also like still kind of like lining him into the reeling him into the importance of the mission, but still seeing that like this is also kind of becoming my family more and more.
Yeah, and he apparently we don't know too much about his past, but we assume that he probably didn't have a family. So.
He's changing.
Now I would like to move it to a section where I will say a few things that I believe the show could maybe improve on. A little bit of some negatives.
We have the critique master
the
out
critiques
here.
are here, and they are here to say that. And you guys can jump on it, obviously, at any time.
Well, right before you do that, we'll toss on one thing real quick. So it's cool because like one thing I also noticed is just a random note. Yeah. It's like they actually changed their clothes. It's such a random thing to point out.
You know what? Yeah,
they changed their clothes. Mr. Elegant, I was watching every single drip that he had on. He went when they went to the volleyball episode. He was in his gym wear. Okay, he has his middle. I'm sure he has his sports monocle on.
Sports monocle.
He put his shoes to sports mode. He's there, and everyone has their own clothes.
I did like that. Everyone gets their own clothes, and it's all considered. I gotta say, the animation in that show, they don't waste a single asset. When they do like the meme faces, they're often simpler than the normal faces, which I appreciate because. The reward is actually a simpler drawing rather than you have to sift through a bunch of crap in order to get something amazing. That's something I appreciate. But now to do a spin and talk shit about this show. So, every single episode starts with a recap. Now, I get it. It's good to have someone just jump in, but this isn't fucking One Piece. This is, like, at least they don't have too many flashbacks.
Welcome to One Piece. If you didn't remember in episode 600.
Yeah, I've noticed that ever since episode, 3 or 4, the first 3 minutes are dedicated to, Daddy is a spy. They are the family of spies. It's like, we know! We know!
I'm at episode 6. yo, what did they do again?
Sorry, I haven't watched this in like a week, and I got hit by a car. My big priority, though, not my medical insurance. What is this show about again?
My God.
That's a little bit of a critique. The castle episode was a little bit over the top with how it was, but also my big thing was that it was filler, it felt like. Where it was kind of... It felt like a beach episode.
What did you just say? What did you just say?
With no titties! And the pace does slow down when Anya gets into the school. I feel like after episode 4, the pace doesn't grind to a halt, but it certainly, they start pulling the brakes a little bit, and that's fine.
Welcome to the slice of life. Where we enjoy life.
That is fair.
Yeah, no, but I...
And now for a little bit of, a little bit more critiquey stuff that I know is going to get one of you to say something. Yours, the ditzy assassin, I'm glad she's of age. She's a bit weak as a character so far. She's agreeable, angry, and flustered. She has those 3 modes. And, like, her brother's the main problem. She's, like, oblivious is helpful with Anya, and her anger is mostly used to make her a hero, because whenever she gets angry, she helps. Okay, so we see her in episode 2 assassinating. We've never seen her assassinate again. The story revolves around, like, we'll see Lloyd and Twilight do shit where they're going on extra spy shit, but Yor kind of gets sidelined a little bit. I'd like to see her assassin things where she gets the fun of having to hide her thing, and Lloyd is, maybe she's actually put in this situation, and even though she's bad at lying, somehow she'll get away with it. I would like to see that. Additionally, we haven't seen her anger being used in a bad way. And I personally would like, a very common thing in households is, you have good times and then you have the bad times. And a family, I feel, isn't defined through their good times. They're defined through repairing themselves through the bad times. I want the family to have a rift on the inside. I want there to be an episode where not Yor is at fault, because it's like, oh, she can't cook. Lloyd actually fails at lying or something. Or maybe he touches her stuff and she's like, what are you doing? And it's like right next to her, gear or something like that. But in the end, she gets mad at Lloyd. I want that to be a thing. I'm not sure. I didn't read the manga, Mogo. And I don't know if that's a thing in the future, but that is something incredible. If there was a big rift between them, and that is the conflict that I want to see, especially coming up in the next parts, because that's the reason why I feel like her character's weak, is because she's only used as a positive in the house, but Anya and Lloyd are often like negatives. I want her to stand up for herself a little bit, because you know what? Because if she knew that she was being bullied by Lloyd and her friend and lied to in order to find out about her brother, that's a reason to be fucking pissed at him.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
That's
because they do. Remember, she does get a background, right? A little bit of background episode on like her friends or who she thinks are her friends at work, and then that whole thing of her about to like. The whole dinner party and madness and being alone and about to have to go and all that kind of stuff, but the oblivious thing does come in. So I definitely do get that. You just want the angst and the flames and the destruction. He just wants the angst.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. I mean, when you like, I do like you as a character, but I know when you say like she got sidelined, like I definitely did feel that at times where I was like wanting more of her and kind of seeing more of that end. I know you get the comments about her murdering and still kind of going through with everything like that, but like, yeah, I did feel like sideline's a good word for Yor being in the Lloyd being in the spotlight a bit more, which it is his show. So like to that extent, it's fair, but it's
the first word in the title is spy. I get it, but the second word is family, and Anya gets a lot of time. There's one member.
Are family.
But there's another member of the family, then I feel like they should, and they should maybe cause a conflict and.
Yeah, because I guess to your point about that the anchor and kind of seeing the dark side of it, like I feel like I do get certain hints of it in the whole like, you know, in the training montage and the thing she says to Anya about like, if you can't control if you just hit anyone or fight anyone or use violence anytime, then you're not like truly controlling your emotions. I feel like there I get hints of like a darker past before she actually mastered the assassin craft and mastered the art of like holding that darkness back, and I'm sure there's something that's gonna have that come to light again. I'm sure it's
there is a balance because it is a comedy and they can't just dive into the darkness without a payoff. So I get that.
Because I think, I mean, if it doesn't come before, I think one part where it could come is just the revelation of their identities to each other, you know, whether it's one or the other, and kind of just being a telepath, spy, assassin, kind of like all of that coming up whenever that does. So
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I really do want that to pop up eventually.
It's also kind of cool because like the series doesn't take itself so seriously. It's like you know, this family is the most interesting dynamic family where it's like a spy, an assassin, and a telepath.
And the fact that I want her to be doing all this stuff means that I care for her as a character.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Because she's helped support. It's cool that even so, right? She's still in there. I know you want to see the darkness, but she's also in there helping support.
Because she is very selfless, and no person is like that selfless without some selfishness, and we haven't seen her side of that because other than in episode 2 when she's first introduced, like we don't see her doing a thing where it's like, sorry, I can't do this because I'm like, even if she is causing a trouble for the family where she's not angry at them or causing a rift, or you know, she's just like, I can't be there for Anya because I have to kill this guy.
Now, just like Lloyd has something, right? Anya has, sorry, not Anya. Yor has a reason why she assassinates, right? It's like to protect her brother or to...
Or I think it's for money and stuff.
Yeah, but now it seems like financial.
Okay,
yeah.
And it's the brother who wants to make the place a better place for...
It seems like she might have paid for all of his like college or something like that. It seems that's alluding that she like goes in and like chops up people, and it's like, here's a wad of cash. She's like, yeah.
I think it will be interesting to see her backstory because that's kind of like how she ended up having to realize like I gotta do this.
It's definitely gonna be dark when they do that, but I do want to see that.
Yeah, we'll see why there's like an on-off like moon and sunlight. Stuff.
Maybe it's like as of now it's been like a nighttime mission. She doesn't interfere with anything, but like it could in the future. I think that'd be interesting to see like. Again, some of it challenged. The whole, like, yes, she's mastered her emotions for now, but that doesn't mean something can't happen to make it come out again. Same for Lloyd as well.
There's just one more thing that I have to complain about that's big. Donovan. We have Damien, but his father Donovan, has he said a single word?
Have we even seen him?
We've seen him
in a newspaper.
We do see him like live, and he just looks like in one of Anya's little like thoughts where she's like, "Oh, it's perfect. I get invited over his house. My dad says, hey, let's end the war." Like, sure,
yay!
world peace.
And now I get it, where it's like, now's not his time to show up yet. Okay, now's not his time to show up yet. I would have liked some foreshadowing. Especially to keep us in, because at the ending episode of 12, they, like Danny said earlier, the mentioning of like, oh, I want to make the children smile, and then going out of his way to be like, I'm impersonating a penguin in the streets for my daughter. Like, you're hitting on the reasons why we watch the show, sure, but I would have loved for the final scene to be something along the lines of like foreshadowing on their end. Like, because I don't know why these people are evil. I don't know anything about them. And another thing with foreshadowing, the fucking dog got foreshadowed.
So, that's what I was going to say.
They foreshadowed the fucking dog!
So what I think, personally, again, I have not read the manga. I know the dog's coming in, though.
Yes.
But, like, I think that they're waiting for the family to come together. Because there was a slew of, like, 4 episodes where it was, like, it focused on everyone.
Yeah.
Lloyd has his, Yor had hers. Then Anya was literally just... Lloyd at the beginning, 2 seconds at the beginning, and it's all Anya. Sports, the Starlight Smash one, right?
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, then we had the dog foreshadow a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, we're going to get the family together and then really go at it. But
Yeah.
you know, we don't know.
We haven't
what's-
had a good amount of time like spent on Yuri's backstory.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
his brother's backstory.
Yuri.
Yeah.
But,
Which, by the way, that was a legit torture scene there, and I was they don't hold back with that, and I respect that. But my big thing is that I'm like, dude, you gotta show that's what I want to know, because like. And you know what? The fact that I care this much means that they're doing a good job because but I think one more breadcrumb could get people from being like, wow, that was a good part of this season. October's going to be great. To, I cannot wait for October. And if they had one little crumb at the end where it was just like, he turns around and he says something. Or he just turns around and he appears in the show.
Yeah.
And Damien walks in, they show that dynamic, because they're probably going to make him a bastard, and he's going to say something like that, I'll earn the Stella soon. He'll just turn and look at him coldly, and then look back, maybe he has some wine or something, and a cat.
Well, I mean,
'Cause-
that man definitely never sleeps because you see his eyes. He looks like an
Yeah.
owl. He's like, I've won 10 years out of 10 years just staring contest. I've never blinked in my entire goddamn life.
And I because it's a comedy, I don't know how evil or if this guy has
I
a
see.
bit. Because if they had like a thing where they hint at it a little bit in that final scene, they're just like,
Yeah.
he does his
I know.
bit like a little bit, and you're like,
Yeah.
like that. That's the one problem, is that there was like, sure, and I'm harping on the end scene, but
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing, he did not appear. I
Yeah.
want to know about Mr. Donovan.
It's kind of interesting because it's kind of like the anticipation. We're just like, we throw the bait out and it's like, and you can see they're purposely doing that
Yeah.
because we have Damien talking about it a little bit. Now we see Damien at home in his home outfit, right? Playing chess by himself, thinking about it. Even his friends are in his home, but his dad's not there. But he also talks about how he's always away and this and that. And then,
Yeah.
and then we also see, what's it called? Lloyd talking about it, about how like it's so hard to pin this man down.
Yeah.
That we can't find this man. We're gonna find him tonight, right? So it's interesting. Yeah, but you're right. I'll be curious to see what he's gonna be all about.
And
But
that-
it seems like the other characters are carrying the show without it.
Absolutely, but when and I agree. But when it comes to a long-standing episode thing, it's all about laying out your breadcrumbs for each thing. Whether it comes to comedy, whether it comes to the dark stuff and backstory, or for the main plot itself, there wasn't really a breadcrumb for the main plot itself. It's like, Anya needs to get Stella.
So what he's saying is that he's the bird lady from Home Alone in the Christmas scene at the park. He's trying to get all the pigeons to come to him by dropping breadcrumbs.
Not only was that a stupid analogy, it's Home Alone 2. It's Home Alone 2.
Big fan.
Hey, when Anya was at home, that made him Home Alone.
In the words of a certain someone in Home Alone 2, sad.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ, I forgot he was in that.
But I feel like, I guess I'm also partially influenced by these shows that'll like really hype up like the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not, because again, it's a lighter show, so it's not like they have to make it that heavy or crazy. But it's like, I guess even shows like that can sometimes throw it at the end. The foreshadowing, the little like clip of like what's to come for this person, which, because it is a lighter show, I guess that's why I didn't care that they didn't have it as much, just because I was like so entertained by the wholesomeness and the family dynamic. But still, I get what you're saying, like that couldn't have hurt.
I think it's more so like rewatching and stuff like that, where I'm just like, I want to know more. And that's not a bad thing, because I want to fucking know more. I like the show. But give me something, please!
Yeah, and I think, circling back too, because I know Yor was, one of your sources of complaints, her character so far in which she's gone. But, like, I like how we also kind of, like, brought up the interrogation scene with Yuri.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of like, yes, we see Yor kind of, like, switching from violence to, like, being passive and positive again. But I think it's really interesting to see that it kind of runs in the family for Yuri. Yeah, where he kind of just, like, he's talking calmly. He's like, I love my sister. I'm going to see her. I'm going to meet her husband and stuff. And then he's like, okay, now torture.
I knew you were gonna go for that. Yes, I actually love that. I love that dynamic, and I can't wait to see more of Yuri, because he is great. I love that guy. And honestly, I want him to put Lloyd in a bunch of weird situations, and I know that they will, and
sure
that's
it'll
something that I'm
continue.
very excited for.
Yeah.
Is for him to be a recurring thing of like, oh, this situation's bad, huh? Well, I can make it worse.
Because we,
worse.
yeah, because we talk about found family, but like Yor and Yuri were kind of like all each other had for so many years, and of course like
Yeah.
they're not physically like in the same place as much, but they're still like kind of seeing that come into conflict with the found family is gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's something I'm so fucking looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard certain things about the dog. I'm not spoiling, but I don't know how that's gonna work. But I'm
Also,
interested to see it.
I have a quick note for all of you, which is going to be something hilarious.
Yeah?
So if you ever look at the manga and I'll see how Mr. Elegant like says elegant.
Yeah.
So it's like a little like his body twirls in the actual manga. You actually see like him like break his back going for the elegant. Like this man is giving it his all and should be rewarded. The he needs all stars. He needs to get all the stars. He needs to get all the stars. Oh boy. But yeah, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's we're so used to a lot of the if we talk about anime for a second just in general, like all the big hitters, right, of anime is usually like they're all teens. Like Demon Slayer is a teen, he's a kid doing his own thing, right? You got
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z, he's just a guy just going ha.
Yeah.
We got like this one apparently just a little bit of a fun fact. Apparently what is it called? Spy Family actually was popular as a manga first, and then got turned into anime. Usually the manga will be adapted into an anime, and then it'll just pop up.
Yeah.
But apparently it was so good. It was 2018,
2018,
17,
wow.
18. It was very recent, and it just popped off so hard, and now the animators like take it off like a freaking rocket to the sky,
Yeah.
breaking barriers right now. So it's a pretty cool thing about that. But like, when I was going back to like, the main characters, this is one of like the top anime, like or is it all the way to the top, where it's just like a slice of life, but also
It's a big news when it comes onto Hulu as well as
Yeah.
Crunchyroll.
and quickly.
And so and quickly, because Demon Slayer was not on there originally. It's simultaneously going on both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
changes.
a big fucking sign.
Anime's coming in, man.
Yeah, anime is very mainstream now. And that being said, I should fucking watch that Demon Slayer movie, huh?
Get on that, boy!
Why isn't it on Crunchyroll?
Even I've seen
Dang,
that.
that's
Me-
interesting.
Fuck you!
Is the movie really not? I feel like
Yo,
the
I'm the
movie's
guy
not-
who doesn't watch anime. Stand there for
Shut up!
I went in theaters to see it.
I think no, we're in the time period where like I guess Dragon Ball Z is coming out later in theaters.
Yeah.
And Fruits Basket just came out in theaters recently. That's if you guys are.
Fruits Basket.
Yeah, it's like a Fruits Basket movie or something like that.
Oh,
So,
there's a
like,
man. Okay.
Yeah.
I never watched that show.
Yeah. What? I saw that
Next week will be.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that is the hyper summary of Spy Family and what it's
Yeah.
doing. Excited to see what they do next. So
Yeah.
Yeah, any other closing thoughts, things you want to see? I know for me personally, with the kind of like grievances or things they could improve upon, not necessarily like this is like a complaint as much as I would like to not see it take too long for their identities to come out to each other.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm so used to so many like long form shows that'll like drag that out for so
Yeah,
long.
will they, won't they? It's like
Yeah.
some Friends bullshit. Like, I don't care about Ross anymore.
Mhm.
I hope, I hope that they keep getting hints of that, and they get more and more sus of each other. Among Us! And it's, it would be, it would be great to, like, see that's big. I do want to see, because if they keep just hinting a little bit and then the spy doesn't come to the conclusion, I'll kill him.
oh my god.
It won't go well, but I'll try.
I'm coming for you. 1v1. No,
He's a cartoon and he's more talented than me if he were real. So, but I'm gonna try.
Dang. Yeah. No. Curious to see what I'm just waiting to see. I just haven't seen something so wholesome in a while. And it's not only that. It's like because there's some obviously there's other wholesome anime that's out there, but there's actually ranking pretty highly. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's like another. I like the wholesomeness because I'm a big fan of just any wholesome content like that. But the other thing I like is like, I feel like the points where it wraps you into the main plot are like when it shows you like through Anya's eyes of like the importance of the mission, the importance of what she's doing. So it's like oh, this is adorable and wholesome
Ah.
and great and funny, but then it's also like, oh, okay, remember what they're doing it for.
Also,
Yeah.
when every time Anya goes like, "Daddy's a liar, but he's a good guy," every time. I'm like, damn.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Love that. I noticed that we talked a lot about everything that wasn't Anya because she's the entire show.
Yeah.
And if you just talk about Anya this whole time, it's like the same thing that everyone said.
Peanuts.
Because she's the best.
Hey,
And-
I would like to see a spin-off OVA or some side book about Mr. Elegant. I need to know everything about this man. I need to know his past. I need to know how many stars he's gotten. I need to know what he looked like before he got his mustache. So, yeah, one thing.
And as we nut over butlers and whether or not the birth rate will increase in Japan because of
Yeah.
Anya's appearance
Oh my
in
god.
cartoons, I guess that's good. I guess that's good. Unless
wrap it up.
yeah, unless this big note page you didn't touch upon anything, Mr. Danny, as I look at it and start judging you.
Oh, Anya versus 11 in Stranger Things. Well, I think that her psychopathic abilities can probably. He's looking at me with glare of destruction at the moment.
No, this is friendly glare.
Help! Oh no!
No, I didn't. Anyway, this was fun. Check out
I'm
next.
in danger.
Check out next week when we either do Thor or Stranger Things or something else that. Fuck you. Thank you for watching. And listen.
Tuning in.
That's the word
So,
for it.
so who's the Anya of this group?
Bitch, that better be me. What are you talking-
Oh my god!
I think who's
You gotta say Peanuts really well.
you're
Oh my god!
but
Okay,
I think you're the your of
I'll
this
take
area.
Laura, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that means you won't like me since you don't like her character in some way.
Yeah, you fucking suck.
Okay.
And
Damn.
you're
I
definitely
see, I
you're
see.
definitely Twilight
I guess
because
I'm Lloyd. I'm
because you're a brony.
I just have a wait, what?